All right, welcome to episode 2 of the Pandemic Tapes. Today we got our buddy Jeff with us. Hello, Jeff, Titan Jeff. How you doing?
What's up? How are you? I'm good. How are you doing?
So far so good. So real quickly, I didn't ask you, but anyway. So real quickly, life before pandemic. I
hmm
guess one thing I was thinking about, like, uh, what was your life like? I don't necessarily want like the bed to bed story, but
hmm
at the very least, is it like what was the flow? What's like some context of the flow, and were you happy with that in comparison to where you are now? And then we'll jump into the pandemic talk. But what's like the foundation of what was your life was like before like shutdown or a COVID impact?
Well, I would say, I work, right? I go to a job, and I would say before COVID, it was just go to work and come home,
Just business
and
as usual at work, like in terms of being around people. Just that's another thing I imagine that I guess I didn't mention. I think you are one of the people that's more around people in their daily
Mhm.
non-COVID life that I know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's probably fair. I mean, I work with a decent group of people at work. My team is somewhere in the 20 to 25 people range, and I'm seeing these people every day. So for me, and I live alone also, so keep that in mind with just the color of thinking about how COVID's affected me. But I mean, I work with 20 or 25 people. I see more people than that just passing in the building and stuff. And and then I come home and maybe go to the gym, and there are quite a few people at the gym. Maybe go to the grocery store, quite a few people there. So pre-COVID, it was really, seeing a lot of people, getting a decent amount of social interaction, especially at work, and and that was pretty much my normal.
So your big two places were work in like the gym, and like these were regular obvious, like would you consider the gym was as regular a part? Because I'm asking specifically because of all of the impact that
hmm
was been placed on gyms specifically.
Yeah, well, I would say it wasn't as regular as it should have been, maybe
Well,
for my personal health. But no, yeah, it was pretty regular, going 2 or 3 times a week.
yeah. Oh yes, it's a consistent thing, not an erratic thing.
Right.
Because lots of people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym because it's trendy this week. Not
Yeah.
this, but yeah. So okay, so it's a regular part of the day to day life. Now you had the transition of work to home, and I think you went to work from home pretty early, right?
Yeah, we went in mid-March, I guess it was.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that sounds about right.
so. How do you, like you mentioned, you live you live at home. Gyms are closed down. You're no
Mhm.
longer like how would you say that the social aspect, and not necessarily the social aspect just of like, oh, I'm gonna go out, like going out to do things for entertainment or going out to a bar, but specifically the social aspect of just interacting with people on a daily basis, whether it be work, school, or gym, or just
Mhm.
that like, how has the interaction, like, do you feel different? Do you notice a difference? Is it
Yeah, I would say it's noticeably different for me. I still interact with. I play video games with you and a couple of other guys, and so I'm interacting in terms of I'm saying words to other people, and they're
yeah.
saying words back to me, and we're having a conversation. But in terms of face to face, I mean, it's really been pretty significantly limited since this has started. And
That
I play golf, so I've played some golf, socially distant, of course.
it
But
always is.
that's yeah, exactly, and that's the benefit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing little things like that where I'm seeing people, but it's been really different to go from sitting close to other people and talking to other people all day and just sort of casually talking about life, even, to just not seeing anyone all day.
Yeah, that has been, I think, my the biggest difference for me is like going from like my number one social interactions throughout the day were like, the mandatory interactions of whether it be like people who you
Mhm,
work with or people you see at the grocery store and stuff like that.
mhm,
A lot more of those, a lot more stopping, talking to neighbors, stuff like that. And
mhm,
now as it switched, yeah, I definitely see that the big it's been the switch to the social media, and like there was also that weird conversation of like, like everyone thinking like, oh, if you're social distancing, you can't have a social life. And I think the
Yeah.
the normies, as it were woken up to with Zoom, right? It's
Right.
like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you could still have conversations that you don't want to have with people that you don't want to talk to as frequently, like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think like that switch for me has been a lot. I've really enjoyed that a lot more. I could honestly would be fine with going back to a world that didn't involve me having to interact with, like, with those the mandatory interactions of the day. I would be
You think so?
perfectly fine with the work from home, eat from home, stay like play like the floor is lava at the grocery store, then
Yeah.
like going back.
I wonder. I kind of thought about that a little bit, and I wonder how much. So I will say that I don't necessarily agree with that. I've really enjoyed some things about working from home, but I miss some of the social interaction. Of course,
Yeah.
I don't like everyone that I see every day, but a lot of my probably closest friends are people I work with. If you spend enough time with them and you're all kind of like-minded people, you end up maybe being pretty good friends with them. And I've had conversations with my parents about this. My parents are in their 50s to 60s range, somewhere in there. And they've really seemed fine with quarantining and staying at home. And I wonder how much of that is the fact that they're still getting at least some social interaction with each other.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I need some sort of something. And
Like some like a face to face something, or like a like what we're doing now something.
yeah, face to face something. I mean, I
Okay.
think this is good too. It's been really great for me to be able to hop on and play Warzone with you and some of those other guys. Just to even, it's still social interaction, right? It's
Yeah.
different, obviously, but it's talking to people that I'm friends with and talking about life and just how are you? What's up? What are you doing? That sort of thing. That's been great for me, and I think it would have been this whole quarantine process would have been a lot worse for me, I think, if I didn't have some sort of outlet like that.
Yeah, at the beginning of quarantine, specifically, not like friends, because I think all my friends were on similar pages, but all of
Mhm.
family specifically. I like it would be like I'd go over and eat dinner with like my sister, or go over and eat dinner with my mom or something like that, and it would be like, oh, I gotta go. I got friends. We're meeting. 10:30 or whatever it is. We're gonna play some more, or just like something would be like, wait, what do you mean? Like you can have plans. What do
Right.
you mean? You interact with people. And so like at the very beginning, like of quarantine, it went from like look, get a load of this guy,
Yeah.
not wanting to go outside, to like, oh no, he actually can interact with people. So I think there was that switch where like I don't mean like, oh yeah, we're doing it the right way, but I think like when it comes to specifically being in like a lockdown quarantine situation, that like just having the thing of being like, oh, I have a Zoom call, I'm gonna go play, like go have a Discord call or whatever it is at this time, like that scratches that itch so much for me of like being like, people just need to get around more people.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
But so the other thing I want to talk about is I feel like every single person that I've talked to, with the exception of you, is been
Mhm.
like, work from home is great. I have less to do. I got more time in my schedule. I'm able to free things up. But you are like the only person I know that's been like, they gave me a second job.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's probably pretty atypical, I would say. But I think well, it's interesting because so my job, I can work from home fine. There's really no difference. I mean, even if it comes to if I have to interact with other people, that's why we have phones, right? I'm perfectly capable of doing my job from home. And from time to time, I've done it before. If maybe you need to be home because there's a maintenance man coming, or maybe I was going out of town and I like left on Thursday night and then worked remotely on Friday. I've worked from home before, and for the most part, I would agree. I think there's a lot less to do. You can get away with doing a lot less because your boss isn't standing over your shoulder. No one can see what you're doing, so there's honestly nothing to stop you from playing on Instagram all day on your phone, as long as, as long as you have done what you need to have done. I just think that just the nature of the quarantine and everything that's happened has ended up giving me more work to do, just kind of because of the nature of my work. And I mean, you're right. I kind of did get a second job, and without that, I think I would have been having a lot more fun over the
Yeah.
past 3 months or whatever it's been. But I think the extra work combined with the lack of social interaction has made it somewhat miserable at times.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
I've wondered about that.
I think, and it's getting better. I'll say that today was great. I I like started working at 9:30. I was done by like 6:15. I went to the grocery store, got some milk. I got some exercise, and now I'm on here talking to you. I mean, it's been a really nice day. And it's like that if you're not working a ton, right?
Yeah.
But then when you are working a ton, it just kind of feels like, and this is something I've talked about with you, but it kind of feels like when you're working from home, there's no end,
Yeah.
because at least if you're at work, when you leave, you're done for the day. But when you're working from home,
Yeah. There's no
you,
off button.
yeah, you never leave work.
Can't punch
And
out.
yeah, exactly. And if I get an email or something, I'm 10 steps away from my laptop. So why not just at work, you know? It's just it's been
Is there
and
that
I think
expectation that if you get the email, say out of business hours, and you're, like, because like you said, you're 10 steps away, is there the expectation that you will address it, so to say, even if
I
it's
think
out of business hours?
in some cases it has been. I was sort of joking about the second job, but the extra stuff that got piled on my plate, a lot of that was really time sensitive. If you
Okay.
get the email, you need to deal with it ASAP. My regular job is more kind of, this can probably wait, but there are some cases where I find myself thinking, like, if I'm, let's say I'm emailing someone in Asia, okay? They will send me an email overnight, my time,
Yeah.
and then I get into the office and respond, and then they respond 12 hours later, and then I respond 12 hours later, and it's like a 5 email exchange takes 5 days because we're all the way across the world from each other.
Yeah. You're
So it's
sleeping
kind of
when
like
he sends it.
exactly, exactly. And then when I reply, he's
He's
asleep,
sleeping.
and then vice versa. Yeah. So I find myself thinking, well, I mean, I could save 48 hours if I just respond to this right now at 11 p.m.
Okay.
instead of waiting until 10 a.m. tomorrow, you know?
Yeah. You also mentioned the walk. Well, I guess you didn't mention it, but you mentioned specifically physical activity. And physical activity, even if it's just as simple as like a walk, not even necessarily like a
Hmm.
full blown workout. But
Hmm.
so how key has that been for you? And also, is that something that you were doing before lockdown?
Yeah, I was very physically active before lockdown.
So
And
this is
like,
like a bad substitute then for you.
yeah, I would say it has been. I mean, like I was saying about golf, I can still go out and play golf, and if you walk 18 holes of golf, it's great exercise, right?
Yeah.
And I've still been able to do that, but not being able to go to the gym has been not that great. Although I did recently discover I don't have anything at home. Okay, I don't have any dumbbells or barbells or any really
You
workout
didn't
gear.
you didn't stock up during the price gouge of 2020?
No, no, when they were selling like $1,000 dumbbell sets and stuff, no, I didn't. I
One
didn't stock
25
up.
pound dumbbell, $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even a
I mean,
set.
yeah, that's not even much. That's not even much of an exaggeration. It was crazy because I
Yeah.
priced it out just like everyone else did. I priced it out, and I was like, okay, well, this isn't gonna work. But I did discover I had these two bar stools, okay,
Oh no.
and I didn't even buy them. They were someone I know was moving out and didn't have room in their new place, and so I got these bar stools, and I was moving them one day to clean under them or something, and I'm like, oh wow, these have like a good weight to them. So I looked them up on the website, and they're 15.3 pounds each, which is like they're basically 15-pound dumbbells. So I've been doing some dumbbell type exercises with those, and it's honestly been a lifesaver.
Okay. Well, I mean, I honestly did not expect to hear you like getting that creative. I wish you had shared that with me from so long ago. That the mental image of that is hilarious.
Well, it's been a recent development, or I would have told you
Okay.
about it.
Okay. But that is awesome. I don't even know. I'm just picturing you like you got like a one in each hand and
Yeah, that's what standing in the middle of the living room, curling bar stools.
this is like a Russian like Soviet hockey team workout because it's during the summer that you just used to go to the beach and move like carry rocks back and forth all day. And then,
Yeah.
like I just picture you like, okay, done with work, 11:04 p.m. Okay, walk over to the bar. Like you're just there for like 20 minutes, like just angrily picking things up, thinking about how the guy in China's not getting back to you in time. And then, it's the quarantine workout.
It do kinda be like that.
It do be like that. Another
So wait,
thing.
well, I wanna ask, what about you? How's your adjustment been in terms of physical activity pre and post, or pre and during, I guess?
Pre I went through like a weird thing with my physical activity for like the entire time is of course has been cycling like throughout
Mhm.
my entire life. It's really the only way I've moved and exercised. And like a year ago, I got hit by a car, and since then I just haven't been riding.
Yeah,
Just like I'm okay with being on the side of the road. It's people
yeah,
hit people with cars there, and so I just kind of haven't done that, and so it's been weird like because like the outlet was gone before the pandemic, which in a way was like a preparation that was weirder for me before the pandemic started than it has like once the pandemic hit, and it was like I didn't have that experience of like, oh, that outlet's being taken from me. Everybody else
yeah,
in the world had that experience of like, oh, I can't, that outlet's gone now. And uh, I've already crossed that bridge. And so I'm pretty much my physical activity is pretty much just like walking my dog at this
yeah,
point.
yeah.
I've done I do have a set of like really old adjustable dumbbells. And
Nice.
like there have been specific times where I've been just like itching and to get something physical done, and not even in something more than like a even like you're saying like walking 18 holes, like even something more than that. Like I wanted to like I wanted resistance, if
Mhm.
you know what I mean. And so like whenever that itch needs to be scratched, I just go down there and I have a cooler that I lay on, and I just lay on my back and just do like what would be a bench press but with
Yeah,
done like a dumbbell bench until,
yeah,
and it's not that many times. Like I said, I'm not doing this constantly. I'm the person who trendily works out, you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm necessarily building even, so it'll just be like 20 minutes of even including breaks, not like just constantly going, but you know what I
yeah,
mean. So like within 20 minutes I'm like, okay, I've met that goal that I had. But that's been the weird itch for me in quarantine. It's not been getting tired out. It's been like I need to hit something. I need to push. There needs to be some kind of resistance that I'm meeting, and it's just not happening. So
yeah.
that's been the biggest need for me, is like some sort, like there needs to be, I need to get the frustration out more than like, oh, I could go for physical activity.
I get that.
So this is like, there's been a lot of stuff that we like now do, like new things to do or replacing old things. uh
Mhm.
this is a little bit of a, maybe it could be shot in the dark for you. I have my own experience, which makes me ask, how has social media, like specifically the traditional, like like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, like the standard shit from your personal life, not like internet personalities, but like just like when you pop on personal pages and you see
Mhm.
people that saying things during this
Mhm.
pandemic. What is it? What's if you been has that been driving you away from it? Has it been like one of those things where it's like, okay, I know I'm sucked into this argument, or specifically
Uh,
with people that you know what I mean, like you work with, you went to school with, like
mhm.
those, I specifically want that to be the clear.
Yeah,
qualifier.
I think it sounds like you're asking, or something. I think that's probably relevant to the conversation is those fringe people that you don't really know. Like I'm not ever surprised by anything you put on social media. Like I know you,
Yeah.
and I know my parents, and so it's like I'm not. My parents don't post on social media, so ignore that. But anyway, the point is these fringe people that maybe I went to high school with, or even middle school in some cases, and you just hop on Facebook and you maybe see some things that they're saying, I think is a good litmus test for this.
Yeah.
I I haven't been sucked into anything. I honestly really pride myself on staying out of a lot because I mean, for one thing, I learned a long time ago that Twitter replies are just the bottom barrel of the internet. It's just the worst place you could spend time.
That's accurate. I didn't put that together like as an actual sentence until you said it, but that's so true.
Yeah, it's so true, dude. I mean, Twitter is great. You can get a lot of cool info. You can get funny jokes. It's great because it's just immediate, right? Something happens, and within a minute, you can see a tweet that talks about it, and that's great.
And
It
then
it
you
allows
open that
for
thread and you could see all of the idiocism that
yeah,
comes along. Idiocism,
yeah,
yes. All of the idiocism that comes along with any of those words.
exactly, exactly. And it's not that doesn't align with political affiliation or race or gender or anything. It's
Yeah.
just there are so many crazy, dumb, aggressive people on Twitter. It's just and it's beautiful because anyone can say anything he or she wants to,
Yeah.
but it's also terrifying because anyone can say anything.
For me, the big one, you're right, you're completely right. I definitely agree that like Twitter replies are probably the most toxic thing on the internet.
Yeah,
I think
toxic.
part
That's a better word.
I think part of that is because like your followers don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, they unless they follow that. But anyway, for me, the big one has been Instagram. Like, Instagram is the one that I've used. Like, I don't post to it. Like, my personal Instagram,
Right.
I think I have 2 posts in 2 years,
Hmm.
on it. But I checked it multiple times a day. Usually, always current. Like, not missing a post. Love seeing what other people were up to, what they were doing. Like, and then stories I find are great because it's like, oh, like it gives you that day-to-day inside look that that you don't get even by asking someone how their day went. So I've
Right.
loved that. But so at first it was like that wave of everybody inside, and it was just like, oh, cool, all my friends actually just play Animal Crossing. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it's like getting to the point. Like, now it's to the point where I don't use, like, I am done with my all personal social medias. I don't look at them. I don't log into them. I'm only using, you know like Will Lebowski social media, just because, like, when I go there, in like, I never wanted or thought I was, but like a person complaining about virtue signaling. But it just seems like the most annoying thing I saw the entire time. And I don't even think that this is like a political statement, but like, I saw someone complaining about people celebrating the 4th of July. And they were like, you guys all out. And this was like not just a fringe person for me. This was someone who I would like interacted with multiple times a week. But it like just hearing like, you guys are exposing yourself for celebrating this holiday when not everybody in this country has the same basic human rights. And it's like, okay, that is completely true. However, that's not what like Independence Day necessarily celebrate. Like, and not
Yeah.
only that, I like no one is celebrating like the 4th of July. Like, for me, I don't know. For me, it's just an excuse to hang out with family and eat a lot of food. And
Yeah.
I like the same thing. I, I I don't know. Maybe other families is different, but like the same thing for me happens around Christmas. It's like, for me, it's like, oh, this is now wintertime 4th of July. Like, I'm not celebrating what the holiday is. I'm just taking the time and the excuse for food. And so
Hmm.
it was just like, wait. So, and then I like went through and saw like all of my like friends, or at least from college, like posting about this, and it's just like, well, fuck. Now I can't like no, I can't like celebrate 4th of July, and so like I'm never one of these
Yeah.
people that's like, well, we can't say this word, we can't say that word. Like I'm never one of these people. But like the whole thing, and it's not about the argument that they're making. It's specifically about like, so I can't go on Instagram now without like in like the argument, especially like that makes you feel guilty for saying like, oh, why can't I go to Instagram and not have to worry about everything else that I'm worrying about in every single point in my daily life. Instagram has always been an escape for like memes, for jokes, for gaming news that no one cared about other than that. It's never been like this. Like it's never been this like official piece of dialogue for me. And so for all of
Hmm.
a sudden everyone to be like, memes at a time like this, it's like this is when we
Yeah.
need memes the most.
Yeah, you do see a lot of that.
And so like even me bringing this up to you, I still feel guilty about it. I still feel like I'm definitely wrong. Like I get memes aren't as important, but I don't know. It just to me seems like there should be specific places where you go for fun, for memes, and I just like the demonization, so to say, of that has really just like completely pushed me off personal uh, internet accounts.
Yeah.
Is that wrong? Like, is that like a because like the biggest argument I've heard to that is like, oh, that's that's a place of privilege where you have like the privilege of not in inner like having this face with every single aspect of your life and every single turn you make. Like that's not how, like that's a privilege for you to have, and like I can recognize that, but at the same time, is it wrong for wanting a place for jokes and memes and fun?
I
it,
mean,
it, Pull the claws out, like give the real take. You know what I mean?
well, in my opinion, I don't really see I don't see the issue here. I mean, I don't think. First of all, I will say one thing about personal social media and just social media in general. The beauty of it, a lot like what I was saying with Twitter, anyone can say anything he or she wants, and I'm at liberty to look at those things, agree with those things, disagree with those things. I mean, you can say whatever you want on social media, and you can be judged for whatever you say. That's fair. I mean, you don't necessarily. There are certain things that you probably shouldn't say on social media. Things that are hateful or antagonistic or or racist or sexist or whatever. Take your pick. You probably shouldn't say those things because people will rightfully judge you for saying those things. But also, the beauty of social media is that it is an escape. It can be used as a tool. It can also be used as an escape. I mean, for instance, my personal Instagram is probably 95% memes. It's slowly become that as I follow new meme pages and like memes and people send me memes and I like those memes. It's honestly just become like a meme factory for me. And I follow people that I know and I see their stories and I see their posts, but it's predominantly memes. And if you go into the page that's like pages that you interact with most, it's almost completely memes. And I'm okay
Memes
with
at a
that.
time like this? How dare you?
But here's the thing. If it's like you can't me liking a meme on Instagram or posting a meme, I don't post many memes, but if I did post memes, is not indicative of anything at all. I mean, have you ever known
Yeah,
someone to be sad and also laugh? Yeah, it's
yeah.
completely possible. It's almost like, there's a lot going on right now in our country that is really serious, but that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to laugh.
Yeah, like that's like I think like the key point for me was like when you said like, yeah, people have just been for some reason taking this upon themselves to say racist and sexist things on Facebook like currently just because like tensions are high, and like that is obviously never been okay. But
Hmm.
I like I see what like yeah, I think you hit it home, like for me, with how I feel a lot more eloquently than I said it. Of like, there is a place for escapism. There is a reason it is escapism, and there is a purpose in it, and there is a nobility, I think, to it. And I think it's the same argument that I found in like the art world of like, does your work have to be reflective of something happening in the world? Does it have to be drawing attention to a problem? Does it have to take a stance, or can it be something that provides you entertainment
Yeah.
for entertainment? You know, more
Yeah.
than just thought provoking entertainment, more than just making you uncomfortable, maybe more than just making you think, but can it be something that makes you just laugh and goofy and has value because of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you think that fiction has a place in the world?
Yeah.
And fiction that doesn't necessarily make you think either. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, some fiction, no question, is designed to make you think, is designed to evoke a specific reaction or inform some thought in your brain. Other fiction is there solely for entertainment. And in my opinion, that's okay.
Yeah. That's where I land, and it's like it seems like this is more important now than ever to have like some sort of escape, some sort of meme. But then I do like the other side of that coin being like, you know, whenever like the argument against it, and whenever just someone just being like, oh, well, that's, you know, not everyone has that. It's, you know, it's something that I don't know. It just it seems I don't. It just like seems like there is a point where this is counterproductive.
Hmm.
It's like it feels to me like when the doctor tells you to rest and you're like, nope, I gotta go finish building this house. Like I gotta run around. I gotta lift the weight. Like it seems like there is like specific times where rest makes you stronger. And like it seems like that has been, and I think the rest side, like maybe we're speaking, maybe I'm speaking a little too uh coded, but like the ability to just kick back, to look at to enjoy something that is even vapid in comparison to anything terrible that's happening, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you.
I do have one last question, and I want a serious answer out of it.
Okay.
Painkiller or Juggernaut?
Uh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Uh,
You have to pick one. It's going to be in the next Call of Duty. Which one do you want it? Do you want it to be Juggernaut or do you want it to be Painkiller?
it's actually interesting. I don't know that I ever really answered the question or
No,
thought
you
about it.
didn't.
Maybe I did and I just forgot about it. But I don't know that I ever thought about it. I think Painkiller or Juggernaut. I think Painkiller, man. I
Ooh.
think I is that a hot take?
I don't know if it's a hot take. It's just the one that I disagree with.
I just think I like it is almost related to the skill-based matchmaking conversation in some sort of way. I'm a fan of sort of leveling the playing field a little bit. Do I think Painkiller was overpowered? Yes. It was ridiculous. But I do think that it adds value because it allows players who are garbage trash to hopefully have a little bit of fun.
Okay. Okay. All right. I could buy it. I can buy it.
It was almost like a predecessor to skill-based matchmaking if you really think about it.
Yeah. Or at the least a mitigation of pub stomping at the
Yeah.
because like the one thing that gets me is like Juggernaut is something that could be accounted for. It could be countered. It's something that you
Mhm.
can plan for. The
Mhm.
only thing you could do when you cross somewhere with Painkiller randomly is just like keep spraying.
Mhm.
And so it just goes down to like their bad accuracy versus your good accuracy and whether or not that works. So
Yeah.
so for me, there's no counter for it, which is why I go Juggernaut or yeah, Juggernaut.
Well, that can definitely make it frustrating, no question. I mean, I benefited from Painkiller back in the day. I also was at a detriment because of painkiller at other times.
Yeah.
So I completely get it. There's nothing quite as frustrating as pumping clips into some kid and not getting a kill because he's got 15 times the normal health,
Yeah, you would have to hit him 4 times with an intervention with stopping power.
which is insane.
4 times health. Yeah.
Which goes back to I think it was overpowered, no question.
Yeah. And lasted too long. Anyway, but the 10-year-old
Yeah,
question that I've been saving, I'd actually just. This is the only opportunity I've had to get a legit response. I appreciate it. Thank you for
on
sticking
air.
around for so long.
Well, I've been preparing for that answer for years, so I'm glad I can finally give it.
All right.